It's not just the loss of life, but also we were talking earlier, Chris, 395 homes damaged or destroyed. We're talking about severe damage or destroyed just in Davidson County alone. 184 commercial buildings with major damage or destroyed, and hundreds of other structures. Obviously, so much of the infrastructure, 79 roads still closed. This was as of the last report late yesterday, and still trying to get power back on, even for many of these folks as they're trying to rebuild and recover. I know you're still seeing power lines down where you are, but with that, I was just looking, NES right now, just above 10,000 residents here in the Nashville area in Davidson County still without power here. And we know some other hard-hit areas. Of course, we've been talking about Wilson County and Putnam County. But right now, Chris, we're taking a split screen so we can see part of the damage that we've been talking about in the East Nashville area, in the North Nashville area, Germantown area. And we're still waiting for the president to emerge from Air Force One. That has not happened just yet, but several folks are lining up, so you can see they are waiting for him to come down the steps, but that has not happened just yet. In your area, though, we know that area, there are going to be massive amounts of volunteers there coming to help clean up, Chris, not just where you are, but throughout Davidson County this weekend.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. You know, I took some notes here just for what's happening in the North Nashville neighborhood. Yeah, you were talking about the power lines down, too. Now that we have a moment, we're waiting for the president to come out of Air Force One. We'll give you a look at some of those. There's a power pole right here, and you can even see part of a street light right there. This is everywhere. I mean, all the way down the street here and down the other direction, too. And again, we're just in the middle of the intersection here. Well, I could walk in any direction and show you some incredible things. But Holly, interrupt me if something comes across your screen there and you need to jump in. I want to run through some of the volunteer efforts and some ways people out there who might be watching could get some help here today. There's help being provided here in the North Nashville area by Second Harvest Food Bank. Lunch for everyone at Slim and Husky's parking lot. If you live up here, you've heard of Slim and Husky's. You know where that is. This is 11 a.m. this morning. That'll run till 2 o'clock this afternoon. That's for volunteers. That's for residents who live here. Well, these people don't have power, so if you're watching right now and you know someone who's in the area and they could use some of that free lunch, tell them about it. This is at 909 Buchanan Street. Again, 11 to 2 at Slim and Husky's. That's free lunch. Also, want to mention First Horizon Ballpark, which is formerly known, of course, as First Tennessee Ballpark. It's the home of the Sounds. Today, they started at 9 a.m. this morning until 6 o'clock tonight. They're accepting donations there, and they're handing out donations there. Also, they're accepting volunteers to come in that want to help out. That, again, is at First Horizon Ballpark, the home of the Sounds. So that's happening today all day long. You're out there, you're watching, or you know a family member that needs help, that needs food, that needs water, that needs supplies, you can send them over to First Horizon Ballpark, or you can go yourself and pick up some of those items. Or if you're just watching, you want to volunteer and you want to find out how to do that, that's the way to go. Also, we realize tomorrow is the weekend. The weather's supposed to be nice. It'll be a long period of time where a lot of us can get out there and help out. So help is needed tomorrow. I did see that volunteers are gathering at Cheatham Place. That's tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. They'll be out there helping out. So that's a coordinated effort at Cheatham Place tomorrow. Volunteers needed. Just some of the things that are going on. But really, there's so many places you can help out. We've got all this detailed on our website, WSMV.com, the different ways you can help out. I'm just going to let the camera look around here a little bit, but I've got my earpiece in, Holly. My microphone's ready to go, so we can talk back and forth whenever you want. What are you seeing there now? Are there any signs of activity coming out of Air Force One?
We are still waiting right now. There's still a line of folks waiting to greet him as soon as he emerges from Air Force One, but that has not happened as of yet. So at this point, yeah, we're still in hold. We're still in a holding pattern right now, of course. We're not exactly sure where he is going to be going. If you're just joining us, we do know that he will be surveying and looking, basically touring much of Middle Tennessee to see the damage from these tornadoes that have hit. Now we're starting to see someone else, and it does appear that this is President Trump right there. You can see he has a baseball cap on right now as he's shaking hands. You can see that is Governor Bill Lee. Right now we're getting a close-up shot so you can see who he is greeting. It does appear to be Governor Bill Lee and his wife, and then there are several other in line, some of those in their uniforms. We could have the head of TEMA director might possibly be out there Patrick Sheehan. I think we can make out too U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn and Lamar Alexander there in the distance. Oh, I see them right behind him, if you can make that out. But again, that's President Trump now on the ground here. That's Barry Field. That's part of Nashville BNA right there. But President Trump wearing his red ball cap right there. Of course, greeting folks there. That does appear, I'm just seeing the back of a head. It looks like Mayor John Cooper, but I can't see any faces as of yet. But again, at this point, he will be touring. Yeah, I can see from the side now, that is Mayor John Cooper there. And as we mentioned just minutes ago, Governor Bill Lee, we could see Marsha Blackburn there, U.S. Senator, also U.S. Senator Lamar Alexander, other folks in uniform right now. Of course, this is Barry Field. As we mentioned, that's actually part of the airport there. And we, at this point, know that he is also supposed to be touring. We don't know, Chris, if he's actually going to be where you are in North Nashville or East Nashville or Germantown. We do know at some point he's supposed to board Marine One and then head on to Putnam County. Of course, we know 18 deaths there. Oh, just tragic. 88 people injured, and they're expected to be greeted, we're assuming, by State Representative Ryan Williams there, possibly Cookeville Mayor Ricky Shelton, Putnam County Mayor there, Randy Porter. But right now he's going to, he basically wanted to get a look, walk the area and just see the damage for himself. As we mentioned just minutes ago, of course, he approved the federal aid and disaster relief, which is tremendous. That's what so many folks have been waiting for. And this now opens the doors for so much federal assistance here. We've been talking about grants for temporary housing. I mean, the important things, money for folks to repair their homes, some of them to get low-cost loans, to cover some of their uninsured properties as well, and also help with business owners, some of these individuals. And right now, Chris, I'm going to walk you through. I know you can't see what's happening, but I'm going to walk through with our viewers. So you just saw him. He's walking across the tarmac, and he is now about to board Marine One. So at this point, we're not sure where exactly. We would think at this point that he would head on over to Putnam County Airport there in Cookeville, since he is boarding Marine One now. Again, just so you viewers know, they have been intentional about keeping it hush-hush as far as what details, very limited details of what they are telling the media, what they even wanted us to know as far as where he would be specifically and when he would be there. So at this point, he may be heading on, Chris, he may be heading on to Putnam County. We are not certain at what time he is heading where exactly. We just know that he is going to tour and get a firsthand look, survey all the damage throughout Middle Tennessee. So again, right now, he has just boarded Marine One, and they have closed the doors, so that should be taking off shortly. And then what we will do, we will end up taking a break, and then we will update you folks at home. We will let you know what we know when we know it, as far as where he will be. And coming up at 11 o'clock, just so you know, we will have a special news report for about the first 5 or 6 minutes of Today in Nashville, and we will be bringing you live reports of where he is and what he is doing. And Chris, I'm going to pull you back in, and I know you've covered many of these as well when the president visits, but typically, if they're on the ground, there's this massive motorcade as they come out to the area. So at some point when he visits you, we anticipate that could be happening, unless he decides to take Marine One and they land in a field somewhere. We don't know exactly what the plan is.
Yeah, you make a good point there, too. We were looking for either a motorcade that would take him off, and that would be an indicator he might be stopping through Germantown or maybe even taking the trip out to Mount Juliet, or here in North Nashville, which is why I'm here. And this would be the area, once again, at 22nd and Formosa, where he'd be cruising through. This would be a smart area for him to come and check out the damage. So we're prepared for that. The fact that Marine One is there and was already there, and you're seeing him get into it, would certainly indicate he's probably heading off somewhere a little more distant. Certainly there's no comfortable area for a helicopter to land anywhere around here, that's for sure.
Right.
But we'll be here. I'll be here standing by, Holly, in case they decide to jump in a motorcade and come through.
Absolutely. All right, so we are still waiting, but it does appear that Marine One is about to take off, and then we will let you know as soon as we know where it is headed specifically. So if it does go ahead and head on to Putnam County, we are thinking it will land at Putnam County Airport there in the Cookeville area. By the way, that's about 76 miles or so from Nashville, so it'll take just a little bit of time in the helicopter to get there. Obviously much faster than a motorcade. We've also been told, we have Lindsay on standby because she's ready, because we've also been told, you know, there could be portions of the interstates that would be shut down at different times. But as soon as we know anything specific, we're bringing that to you, and obviously live streaming this as well. So you can see at this point, it does appear that Marine One is about to take off. We could be just seconds away from that. You can see Secret Service. Obviously, it's interesting for a lot of our viewers to know there's so many clearance. There's so many checks and checkpoints that even the media has to go through. And then facilities, no matter where he is headed, always has to be cleared far in advance, and anyone going to those locations have to be cleared security-wise, just to make sure that there will be no problems. But at this point, it does appear that a Marine One is about to take off. We will keep you posted and bring you the very latest wherever he goes. We're going to have special coverage, as we mentioned, at 11. Of course, team coverage today at noon. And then when he does leave, now the latest that we have seen, the latest information that's been released from folks with the White House is that that will be sometime early this afternoon. And originally, he was supposed to then fly on, Air Force One was supposed to take him down to Atlanta to stop there with the CDC and talk with folks there. Of course, with the coronavirus, a hot topic right now and a huge concern for our country. And now with the one case here in Williamson County, as it has hit Tennessee. But at this point, we're being told that that meeting has now been postponed, and he is expected to then, once he leaves Middle Tennessee, to then head on to Florida. But we will keep you posted the very latest as we learn more information for you. But again, you are seeing Marine One. I think we are just minutes from takeoff there, but we did see the president there greeting Governor Bill Lee, and it appears to be his wife. We could not see Mayor John Cooper as well. We saw U.S. Senators there, Marsha Blackburn and Lamar Alexander. We saw some folks also in their uniforms, and we don't know exactly who else was there, but presumably TEMA Director Patrick Sheehan could have been there as well. But we will continue, of course, to bring you the very latest. Right now, Nashville, Davidson County still dealing with so much of this damage, this devastation. Obviously not just Davidson, but we've been talking about Wilson, we've been talking about Putnam counties. The federal aid, as we've been talking about, it's been expedited, and what this does, him signing this disaster and this federal aid disaster relief now, that helps expedite major relief for these folks. Of course, the result of the deadly March 3rd tornadoes, all the severe weather, but now local, state, as well as federal emergency officials, all the responders, of course, they've all worked tirelessly in this coordinated manner, this coordinated effort to provide help and relief to all our counties and communities here. And now you can see Marine One is starting to move. The wheel's starting to move, about to take off. Hasn't happened just yet, but this is just seconds away. So again, Chris, there's the big question mark as far as where this will land. We don't know exactly where he's headed, but if he now is moving towards Putnam County, then we're anticipating that should be the Putnam County Airport, which is right there in Cookeville, where we would imagine that the Cookeville mayor there, Ricky Shelton, Putnam County Mayor Randy Porter, Cookeville State Representative Ryan Williams could all be there to greet him. In fact, I was just following Cookeville Mayor Ricky Shelton on Twitter, and he was saying just the other night that President Trump personally called him, which is pretty amazing. But he was just saying how much he appreciated it, just in his expression of, how sorry he was and how he was going to be there federal assistance would be ready for Putnam County and, of course, right here in Davidson County as well. So, again, we just saw Marine One right here. It's about to take off. We've been bringing, if you're just joining us, we saw Air Force One land. We saw President Trump come down the stairs and emerge from Air Force One down to the tarmac and greet several of our local and state officials, including our governor, Bill Lee, and Mayor John Cooper, our U.S. senators, Blackburn and Alexander. And then he walked just a short distance to then board Marine One, which it's still in view right now, and it's about to take off. We've had our Chris Miller on standby as well. And Chris, you're in North Nashville, anticipating a possible arrival of him there at some point today. We don't know exactly when or exactly where he will be touring.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we're ready in case he comes here again. We were waiting to see if we'd see a motorcade or we'd see a Marine One, and the indicator that he had already communicated with authorities there in Putnam County, and you're seeing Marine One would be a strong indicator he's headed that way. And I think that's a good idea. I mean, the president should see Putnam County. That was an EF4 tornado. Of course, they go up to EF5, so this is one of the worst tornadoes you could ever experience. I personally have not been on the ground in Putnam County, but you and I have been watching the footage all week, and our photographers I'm working with right here, some of them had been up to Putnam County, and actually Jason, who's holding the camera right here, was just talking about the severity and how vast and huge the disaster zone is there in Putnam County. So if the president could go up there, I think that is the best indicator of just how devastating this has been to Middle Tennessee. So that's certainly a good place to start. And absolutely, the people here in North Nashville would love to see the president come out here to this area too. We've got volunteers all over the place, people that have come out to help out, to give of their time today, to just help this community try to get back on its feet. And certainly this isn't going to be done in a day or a weekend. This is a months-long process. And you talk about that federal aid that the president has approved, and you made a good point that some of this aid is going to be available to individuals themselves for them to get back on their feet. And we'll be communicating some of the ways you can do that for certain. But absolutely, you can see the big efforts that are being taken here. And I talked about it a little bit earlier, but this is sort of what's happening out here in North Nashville. Is now you've got Metro Water Services and Metro Nashville Public Works, and really any city, organization, municipality that's got a dump truck is coming out here to load up. And they've got this big heavy equipment right here with this bucket on the front. It's loading up some of this debris that's in piles, putting it in dump trucks. They're rolling it out of here. You're seeing the same exact thing in Mount Juliet, in Wilson County, in Donaldson, up in Putnam County. This is what you're looking at today. In Germantown, anyone that's seeing this kind of damage, they've cleared most of the roads. Now it's the process of trying to get the telephone poles back up, to get the wires repaired, get the electricity stored, and now to just get all this debris out of here. And that is going to take a very long time.
Absolutely. And, you know, just to prove part of that point of the need, there are shelters that are still open. The Centennial Sportsplex, East Magnet High School we've been talking about. They moved some folks to the Smith Springs Community Center that recently opened. You're still looking at live shots, by the way. Marine One, it's been taxiing down the runway, moving down the runway just a little bit before it actually lifts off. But you can also see other aircraft behind it. We're still waiting for the official liftoff there. But again, folks have been watching President Trump land and emerge from Air Force One. We will let you know as soon as we know exactly where he's going. If you're just joining us, he is expected to tour to survey all the damage. He wanted to see for himself, put his feet on the ground to talk to these folks and really see where the damage is and just how devastating it is here in Tennessee. Obviously, all our local and state officials expressing their appreciation for the federal aid. Now that President Trump has approved the federal aid and disaster relief, now for all the cleanup and the rebuilding, this money and all this assistance can be made available here, not only in Davidson County, but also Putnam County and Wilson counties. But you can see the last of the aircraft now going out of sight there at Berryfield, that again, part of Nashville BNA. So again, you've been watching coverage live for you this morning, the very latest as President Trump has made his way here to Middle Tennessee to tour and survey all the damage throughout our Tennessee area. My goodness, so much to see. So we'll continue to follow this, bring you the very latest. We'll have special reports coming up at 11 o'clock. Of course, team coverage at noon and throughout the day. We are here for you, Middle Tennessee. For breaking news updates sent straight to your phone, make sure you download the free News 4 app. Okay. All right.